Well, good afternoon and welcome everyone. Today's review has now brought us here for an extremely special and somewhat exclusive up-close and personal encounter with the limited production 2014 Hyundai Tucson Walking Dead Special Edition. And now, with all of that being said, this is going to be a complete and in-depth review of the Walking Dead Tucson, and this does entail a complete startup and overview of the engine, as well as a good look at many of the unique and notable styling cues and multiple limited edition features, technologies, and creature comforts that now make up this newly refined limited production and commemorative version of Hyundai's small popular crossover. And so, bearing all that new information in mind, let's go ahead and climb aboard and we'll check it out. Now, the Walking Dead Special Edition Tucson is available in only one signature exterior color choice, known as Ash Black Metallic, definitely making sure that you are as invisible as possible to all of the undead. Also in commemorative fashion, the Walking Dead Tucson features sport red grabbing hands graphics bestowing both sides of the lower ends of the vehicle. Now, to make sure you have as easy of an access as possible into the Walking Dead Tucson when running away from all of the undead that have been chasing you, the vehicle now comes standard with Hyundai's standard proximity key. Basically, using their all-new sculpted key fob here, it provides complete remote-free access into the vehicle along with a standard push-button ignition. Gaining entry into the Tucson is as simple as having the key fob anywhere on your person, such as I've just placed it here in my pocket. And as you just saw, just a moment ago, we just unlocked the Tucson. And both the locking and unlocking is done through the large black button hidden flushly into the two front door handles. To lock and unlock, simply hit it once. One beep indicates the vehicle's locked, hit it again. Two beeps indicates the vehicle is now unlocked. And if you were to actually hit the button twice in a rapid succession with the vehicle being locked to start with, the first set of chimes indicates that the driver's door is now unlocked, with the second set of chimes indicating the unlocking of all the rest of the doors. And beautifully complementing the depth and shine of the special ash black metallic exterior, our particular vehicle's interior has been fully upholstered in a standard black perforated leather. The Walking Dead Special Edition Tucson is only available with a black leather interior. Now, to start this particular Tucson with the proximity key fob is very simple. All you have to do is have the standard key fob anywhere within the vehicle, then put your foot on the brake, and simply locate and hit the dash-mounted engine start button to fire up the engine. A beautiful smooth purr from that newly developed 2.4-liter gasoline direct-injected 4-cylinder power plant. Now, albeit that the Walking Dead Tucson is only available with Hyundai's electronic onboard four-wheel drive system, this vehicle does feature a whole host of upscale features. For a start, the vehicle still uses Hyundai's electrically assisted rack and pinion power steering setup, providing effortless feedback from the front wheels. There's not too much resistance in the wheel like you would expect on most all-wheel drive vehicles that use a conventional electric steering system. In this case, it's fed through a standard 4-spoke leather-trimmed multifunction steering wheel with soft grip extensions at about 10 and 2 o'clock, a soft, somewhat firm yet crisp feel to the leather overall, with beautiful silver accents bestowing both sides of the wheel. Also bestowing the wheel are all of your multifunction controls for various electronic creature comforts throughout the vehicle, accented by this soft grain airbag cover front and center. Now, just like all of the other standard features you'll find on the other 3 trim levels available for the 2014 Tucson, this vehicle comes with only one standard transmission paired with only one standard engine choice. Putting the power to the ground through the electronic onboard all-wheel drive system is Hyundai's electronically controlled 6-speed Shift-tronic automatic transmission with available manual shifting capabilities in its own designated part just to the left-hand side of the drive portion of the shifter, all finished off with a beautiful leather-wrapped shifter knob, black black piano veneer accents gracing the top, finished with slight trims of satin silver all the way around. Stitching running across the middle of the shifter knob, trailing all the way down to a stitched leather shift boot. Now, of course, when you're running away from an entire horde of the undead, you obviously need to know where you're going, and the Walking Dead Special Edition Tucson provides this high-definition 7-inch touchscreen display paired with Hyundai's SD card-based onboard navigation system. Now, aside from the obvious benefits of having navigation in this vehicle, this car also does come standard with a reverse backup camera. Just put the car in reverse, and as you can see, it comes with a full set of trajectory lines as well. Also, as you can hear, to keep out the undead in the best possible way, the vehicle comes standard with electronic child protective safety locks which automatically lock the vehicle when the car is put into gear and will only unlock the vehicle when the car is put back into park. Though why you would want to put the car back into park when you're running away from the undead, you have no idea. Now, only the driver's side window is automatic in both directions. And once you close the door to this Special Edition Tucson with the proximity key fob in your possession, you can hear that the vehicle generates an audible exterior chime to let you know it's lost detection of its signature proximity key fob. Now, unlike the more standardized trim levels of the Tucson, be it GLS, SE, and the upscale limited trim level, the Walking Dead Special Edition Tucson features the most powerful available 4-cylinder for the Tucson line. Hyundai really wanted to make sure that when being chased by a swarm of the undead, you really have the most horsepower available and also the most torque to really make sure you put some distance between yourself and the enemy. Just like the upscale SE and limited trim level, Hyundai has equipped the Walking Dead Special Edition with their corporate 2.4-liter dual overhead cam, 16-valve, gasoline direct fuel injected inline 4-cylinder power plant, again equipped with their signature dual continuous variable valve timing. This engine here cranks out 182 horsepower and a respectable 174 pound-feet of torque. Running on regular unleaded gasoline, however, and equipped with the electronic all-wheel drive, EPA mile per gallon estimates are only estimated at 20 miles per gallon in the city and 25 miles per gallon on the interstate highway. This is a little bit of a drop in miles per gallon, as the standard front-wheel drive Tucsons reach 21 in the city and 28 on the highway. And now let's see about a few revs of that 2.4-liter 4-banger and see what kind of soundtrack she produces. It's definitely a very rev-happy motor. It does not take much pressure to actually introduce some fuel into the engine. Overall, though, a very beautiful and potent sound from that small little 4-cylinder engine. But with all that in mind, let's go ahead and turn on the headlights. This vehicle does come standard with the automatic option, as they are halogen projector headlights as standard equipment, as well as turn on the standardized fog lights and the hazard lights as usual. And now let's take this quick opportunity to take a peek at the exterior of the Special Edition Tucson. Back in 2003, creator Robert Kirkman, combined with the artistic efforts at Marvel Comics, released what has now become a true sensation in the world of horror, comics, and media. His hit series, The Walking Dead, basically emphasizes what the world would be like should the dead come back for revenge. Now, with this comic series in its 10th year of existence and already in its 5th season on television, it's only fair that something had to be done to commemorate this occurrence. With Hyundai now being the official vehicle of the series, as well as the supplier of all battle machines and other vehicles used in the footage, they have now released their own limited series of 1,000 Special Edition 2014 Tucsons to commemorate this occasion. Now, although this vehicle here features none of the battle-ready weaponry and garb that you might find on the battle machines used in the footage that fend off the attacks from the undead, the car still holds its own in its terms of collective and commemorative value. Now, instead of going wild with all sorts of vinyl wraps and crazy designs everywhere like you might find on some other commemorative vehicles, as you can see, the design is subtle, yet eye-catching. With this vehicle featuring all the upgraded features that you would find on both the SE and limited trim levels of the everyday Tucson, such as here at the front with these standard halogen projector headlights and standard fog lights, Hyundai has truly put together something for all of the fans of The Walking Dead to behold, and ultimately, for those willing to pay the price tag of just under $30,000, to own their own piece of Hyundai's and indeed television's history. However, putting the power to the ground through that 6-speed transmission is this set of 17-inch painted aluminum alloy wheels finished in a beautiful dark gray, just like you would find on the standard SE. You've got intermittently timed rain-sensing wipers, monochromatic or paint-matched LED turn signal-equipped exterior mirrors, painted silver aluminum roof rails, with the Hyundai accessory roof-style cross rails. Again, moving here to the back of the Walking Dead Special Edition, you'll notice another feature as seen on the more upscale limited trim level for the 2014 Tucson, a full rake of LED sculpted taillights as compared to the standard halogen ones found on the SE and lower trim levels. Also, it's worth mentioning that the Walking Dead Special Edition is only available with the electronic all-wheel drive system, as you really do need the most gripping capabilities and the easiest way of exiting any sort of terrain when getting away from hordes of the Walking Dead. You got rear heating defrosting glass, along with an integrated rear windscreen wiper. Also got a third LED brake light and the body color match spoiler up top. Just an absolutely sweet looking vehicle to look at. The ash black definitely provides the best invisibility to the undead, although those sport red graphics may be a little bit on the vibrant side. However, it adds a beautiful touch to the consumer edition of the vehicle. But now that we've had a good look around the exterior of this Walking Dead Tucson, let's go ahead and take a better look at what makes up the interior. As stated previously, all Walking Dead Special Edition Tucsons are equipped with a standard black premium perforated leather interior. Here on the driver's side of the vehicle, you've got a power-assisted front seat. Even though you really don't want as much entry into the vehicle as possible with swarms of undead coming at you, you definitely still have all of the powered amenities when driving this vehicle out on the open road. You've got all 4 power windows, including an automatic one-touch driver's side window, your power door locks, window locks, and also your power assisted mirrors. Just to the left-hand side of your manually tilting and telescoping steering wheel, you also have your traction control button, hill braking control and hill start assist, also a locking center differential for the onboard all-wheel drive system. Also included is your instrument dimming. Now, once you step inside the interior of this Walking Dead Special Edition Tucson, it really doesn't feel that different compared to a standard SE or limited trim level of a more generic generation of Tucsons. The interior aesthetics are relatively the same, featuring the same combination of large and soft-grained plastic-like materials covering the majority of the dashboard. Most of the dash is comprised of the larger grain material, feeling almost like it's got kind of a pebble-like texture to it, with smoother black plastics here for just above the center stack, and also your large gauge binnacle right in front of you. The softer materials are located just underneath and just above your glove box, just underneath your airbag cover. Now, when observing the center stack of this Walking Dead Tucson, all of the components seem to be taken straight out of the upscale limited trim level of the Tucson. As we mentioned previously, it has the fully sized 7-inch high-definition touchscreen display, complete with an SD card-based onboard navigation system. Of course, being chased by the undead, you're going to be in all sorts of unfamiliar territories. Therefore, you're going to need to know where you are, so navigation pretty much is a must with this vehicle. To keep your crew entertained, you also have AM and FM radios, XM Sirius satellite radio as standard equipment, also your media button, which utilizes the iPod USB and auxiliary input, also Seek track buttons, utilizing your CD player up here at the top. Over here on the right, you've got your map and voice command controls, different destinations, and also your route setup, and also your vehicle info, and so on. Also, this little button down here is for your hands-free phone, as accessed by the hands-free Bluetooth buttons on the lower left-hand side of the steering wheel. Now, as far as what you see in the map graphics, it's typical Hyundai. Everything is legible, very easy to read, and very easy to use. All of it, as stated before, is also touchscreen. And also, to boot, you have XM active traffic, meaning that it will get you to your destination a lot faster and get rid of all those possible annoyances on the highway. Also, points of interest and navigation menus.
Nesbitt, thanks for hanging out, man.
Now, as far as the stereo system, it's just your standard premium Hyundai audio system. This vehicle does not feature anything like an Infinity or Dimension audio system like you would find in the upscale Limited, but it's enough to keep you entertained with a beautiful array of soundtracks. An absolutely wonderful sounding stereo overall. Go back to the map settings here. And looking down from just underneath that huge 7-inch display, you find the limited trim levels dual zone clean air ionizer and air purification system built into the dual zone climate controls. This vehicle features 2 separate temperature controls via these large silver knobs on both the right and left side of the air conditioning controls. Your fan speed's located here in the center, air conditioning introduction, air conditioning recycling, with your climate modes available via the small button in the lower section of the right-hand temperature knob. So you've got your face and your feet, just your feet in the defroster, or just your face. Also an available outside temperature gauge to boot. This vehicle also comes with the dual setting, which is the uppermost portion of the button. You just hit it, and with the dual mode selected, both of the temperatures can be controlled either at the same time or by themselves. Also over here you have automatic climate controls. Just push the topmost portion of the left-hand wheel, and also the availability to turn the AC off. Now the benefits of the clean air ionizer and purifier, for civilian terms, is basically when the air is drawn in from the outside, or even when it's being recycled, it basically gets rid of all the allergens and all of the nasty stuff that can come in from the pollutants pretty much in the outside air. Now, if you're being chased by the undead, this is definitely going to come in handy, as it probably doesn't smell too pleasant with all of those undead folks running around. Now, just underneath of all your climate controls, one special little feature that you'll notice is an engraved and embossed signature of the creator of The Walking Dead, Robert Kirkman, signifying that this is a true Walking Dead Special Edition Tucson. Only Robert Kirkman has signed off on every single one of the 1,000 units in the production line, and each one carries this small little plate signifying that it is truly the Walking Dead Special Edition. On either side of the placard, you have 2-stage heated front seats to keep your drivers warm. And down low, you also have two 12-volt, 120-watt cigarette lighter style outlets on either side of your standard iPod USB and auxiliary inputs. Moving down the center console, as we saw before, the shifter itself is trimmed in a beautiful piece of leather with beautiful stitching running across the back, and satin silver and piano black accents up top. A full leather stitched shift boot running all the way down to the base, with black piano surrounded illuminated numerics finished in a beautiful illuminated white. With this bright silver trim finishing it off, it all trails off into this metallic gray painted center part here in the center. It also is your typical Hyundai plastics. Now you've got large center cup holders, and this is pretty much big enough to hold even the biggest of water bottles. We've had one that's typical size, a large soft drink from your local fast food restaurant will fit in there absolutely fine. Now just below all of this sort of plasticky stuff is a small button labeled Active Eco. Now this is where you're really going to see the 20 miles per gallon in the city and 25 on the highway, even with a small little 4-cylinder engine. This button here, with it on, you can see the small little green Eco icon that appears just underneath your speedometer. And basically what that does is it adjusts your transmission timings and throttle timings through the engine's onboard management system, and basically it allows the vehicle to drive at its most fuel efficient up into certain speeds and throttle pressures. This is really, again, how you're going to see 20 in the city, 25 on the highway. Now with it off, basically you're on your own. You drive like a hooligan, you're not going to get the best gas mileage. And the Active Eco only works up to certain speeds. I believe it's around 75 to 80 miles an hour before it shuts off, and also in the city probably around 20 to 30 miles an hour, typical city back road speeds. Now all of your central storage is located in this leather-bound center console with a bit of dark gray painted trim running across the bottom, a small separate little storage tray, all with a nice stitched leather finish. And as you saw up top, the Walking Dead Tucson does not provide entry through the roof, i.e. it does not come with a sunroof. You want to eliminate as much entry as possible from those undead walking around outside, so therefore this vehicle does not come with any special packages like you might find on a standard Tucson, nor does it come with a special sunroof. Up here on the top you've got your standard map lights and reading lights, sunglasses holder, illuminating vanity mirrors, and also your small little microphone for your hands-free Bluetooth system located up top. And lastly, as far as what's directly in front of you, all of your controls are easily legible and untypical of what you'd find in a 2014 Tucson. Over here on the left, you have your voice command button, radio modes, and all hands-free radio functions. Lower left-hand side of the steering wheel, you find your hands-free Bluetooth controls. Over here on the right, your trip meter, which controls that small little blue LCD screen in the center. You can see vehicle range, average miles per gallon, average miles per hour, estimated time spent driving the vehicle, and the vehicle's trip meter. Down here to the upper right, you also have your active cruise control settings, as located by these 3 buttons up here on the right-hand side of the wheel. Overall, the Walking Dead Tucson provides all of the creature comforts of both the SE and limited trim levels of the Tucson, while still maintaining the commemorative special edition status of Robert Kirkman's signature Walking Dead comic series. Unbelievable. And with all that in mind, viewers, let's go ahead and turn off the engine. Just hit the button. No exit chimes or anything like that, like a lot of other modern Hyundais in their lineup so far. But with all that being done, viewers, let's go ahead and take a peek at the rest of the Walking Dead Tucson. Also, as you saw in the beginning, once you exit the vehicle, those who are curious and happen to look down will notice the large boot-impressioned footprint featuring the Walking Dead logo featured on the TV show. And all these are signature carpeted floor mats as a standard feature on the Walking Dead Tucson. Now, being a Tucson, it only has available space for 5 passengers. Unlike the much bigger Santa Fe, which is featured as one of the battle machines in the show, this vehicle is used more so for carrying the main characters of the show around. Even so, it can carry much taller people, especially in the back seat. The seat is in its definitive position where I normally would have it while I'm driving, and I'm about 6'1", and I've got at least a couple inches of room between the front of my knees and the back of the seat, and that's all thanks to these large indentions in this sort of plastic material for the back seat. You've also got dual map pockets for holding all of your maps and other technological equipment you may need in the back. And coming around to the back of the Tucson, even with this vehicle carrying some of the features of the limited version of the Tucson, it does not come with a power-assisted liftgate like much more upscale small SUVs. And opening the back, you find a pleasant surprise coming standard with the Walking Dead Special Edition. Your very own Special Edition Survival Kit as coming standard on all 1,000 units, featuring your own standard embroidered backpack with the Hyundai logo up top and all of the materials you will ever need to survive the undead walking apocalypse. This tarp here actually also happens to be one of the many features found in the survival kit. As you can see, the custom embroidered logo featuring the 10th anniversary of The Walking Dead's release, and your signature carpeted rear trunk mat. Also featured in Hyundai dealers that specialize with the Walking Dead Tucson are Hyundai's Walking Dead Chop Shop Special Edition posters featuring their special feature on board their website, which allows you to customize your own battle machines via the Walking Dead using some of Hyundai's vehicles, including the Santa Fe, Tucson, and Elantra. Also, as you can see, to keep all of your survival materials in, you also have Hyundai's accessory cargo net. Of course, one big benefit about this Walking Dead Tucson is it allows plentiful storage capabilities for all technological equipment when studying the undead, or at least running away from them. You got 60/40 split fold rear seats which fold somewhat flat and almost double the amount of cargo space you get in the rear. Also featuring its own small little leather-bound center console with dual cup holders. Now, one of the best things about this Walking Dead Tucson is its build quality. It feels solid and definitely shows that it is a much higher quality vehicle than most initially expect. For instance, when you close the door. A much softer, more authoritative thunk compared to some other vehicles of the same category which have sort of a tinny rattle when you close the door. Now, aside from the electronic onboard all-wheel drive system as standard equipment on this Walking Dead Tucson, the vehicle does come standard with a whole array of additional safety features for those who are curious. You've got dual-stage front impact airbags for both the driver and passenger, side curtain, and seat-mounted side impact airbags to go along with it. You've got electric pre-seatbelt tensioners, active head restraints, electronic stability control, and ABS, all just to name a few. As you can see, the passenger seat is manually adjustable compared to the power adjustable driver's seat. Once you step inside the passenger side of the Tucson, it's pretty much like every other generic Tucson that you can think of. Bags of room, especially for taller people here in the passenger side. I'm about 6'1", and my feet still have a little bit more room to go. Even if I pointed my toes, I'm just barely touching the back side of the firewall. So definitely a lot of leg room for someone of a taller stature. As far as the glove box goes, it falls nice and softly. It's not lined with felt, but still does provide a plentiful amount of storage capability for all your maps and reading materials. So viewers, I hope you've enjoyed this rather in-depth look at the limited production 2014 Hyundai Tucson Walking Dead Special Edition. Remember, there are only 1,000 of these limited production units being available for the general public's consumption, and if you manage to find one at your local Hyundai dealer, it is encouraged that you take a step on inside to find out more information and what makes this vehicle so special. If you can't be bothered to travel all the way down to your Hyundai dealership, visit HyundaiUSA.com, visit the specified Tucson section, and visit under Special Edition to find out more information. If you live here in the local Houston metropolitan area and want to find out more information from your local Hyundai dealer, please feel free to visit one of our locations at Humble Hyundai on Interstate 59 North, Baytown Hyundai in Southeast Houston on Interstate 10, or the all-new North Freeway Hyundai at their brand new location in Spring, Texas on Interstate 45. Till then, viewers, hope you guys had a great time. I'll see you guys later.